What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about another comedy film. We're continuing on with the Vacation franchise. Now, this is the film where we follow the Griswolds on some interesting vacations. So we talked about the first one, where they went across the states. And now it's time to talk about the second one, National Lampoon's European Vacation, released by Warner Brothers, July 26th, 1985, starring Chevy Chase. It's written by John Huston and Robert Klein. Produced by Maddie Simmons and directed by Amy Heckerling, who is actually the director that brought us some good comedy gold like Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's a good one. Look Who's Talking 2, and Look Who's Talking Now, the third one. I Could Never Be Your Woman, those type of films. Yeah, so she's been all over the place, mainly in comedy, and this had a box office earnings of $49.3 million, which was pretty big for comedies back in the 80s. So, yeah, National Lampoon's European Vacation. Well, the Griswolds are on a cheesy game show called the Piggly Wigglies or something like that. They're dressed as pigs, and they try to win this, like, world trip. Well, it's a surprise grand prize, but ends up being a trip across Europe, and somehow they smart them and win the most ridiculous way possible. So now the kids don't really want to go because, well, the older son's just getting into like is like almost a senior in high school and stuff like that, trying to like hang out with friends and stuff like that, trying to pursue his love interest. The younger daughter has her first boyfriend, doesn't want to leave him, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, but they end up getting them to go on the trip anyways. And of course, nothing goes right. It's typical for these type of movies. It was written by John Hughes. I totally mispronounced his name earlier, but yeah, which he only gave like the basic structure of it, and then Robert Klein went on and adapted it further. Now, he's also wrote The Weekend at Bernie's and Weekend at Bernie's 2, so yeah, a little bit different, a little bit odd. This one has a lot more slapstick sort of style comedy in it and stuff. So, of course, they start off their trip, they fly to England, and obviously the hotel's nothing like they expect, and it's a pretty big dump and stuff. Like there's some pretty good gags in that sequence when they're in Europe and stuff. How everyone's really nice and things like that, and because they keep hitting people. And then there's also he sits on the bed, but it's so soft and stuff. He sinks right into it and stuff. There's some pretty good scenes like that. It does take a little while for it to get going though. Like there's a lot of like pauses in between, where it's more of like moving the plot along, but it definitely picks up speed when it's there and they go to like Paris and stuff, and it's pretty funny for the most part when they're there. Now once they get out of those two countries and they go more into like I think it was Germany and Rome, it kind of slows down and it becomes more of like trying to be like more like a meaningful piece of like family bonding and stuff, and it kind of loses its speed with it, which is kind of odd, I thought, for like a film. Like it had so much good build up and everything, and then it slowly slows down. They do an interesting car chase and stuff in it, and some other stuff where they pretend to go visit in-laws, and then they end up being like way down the street instead of going to the proper house and stuff. But yeah, it was definitely an amusing sequel. I don't know why most people hate this one. I do. I can probably tell you why half the people probably hate it. The kids are absolutely annoying in this movie. They are not the best actors or anything, and yeah, half the stuff seems like forced, and the jokes with the kids didn't really sit too well. But for the most part, it's still a decent, well played movie, especially with like all the setup ones that they had in the beginning do come back and for some good laughs in later on in the film. Like there's a scene where Clark is filming his him and his wife goofing around, and yeah, leads to him losing their sex tape on the trip, and they're like, oh, I wiped the tapes, blah blah blah, and they end up being on sale in Rome when they get there. Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Definitely amusing. I don't think it was as good as the first one, but it's still pretty enjoyable and stuff. It's just the fact that the kids were so annoying and the characters did not really mesh well especially when you recast the kids, which is happens in pretty much every movie of this one series. So yeah, but yeah, and then when they get to like halfway through the film, it sort of like loses pace and tries to be more sentimental and stuff like that, which was kind of odd. But yeah, it wasn't all slapstick all the way through, which is a daring thing to do, but it is still an amusing film to watch and definitely a fun time, especially if you have nothing better to do for an hour and a half. It's a good way to kill it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because, yeah, I just thought it was that good. So hopefully the next two are like that. I already reviewed Christmas Vacation. That's on here somewhere, so I'm not going to do that one again. But we're going to go on to Vegas Vacation for the next review. But before I go, make sure you like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Follow me on Instagram to stay in the loop. I usually post film clips of I post film clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story, and I usually have the film title in a hashtag and subject on a film in a hashtag, and yeah, so make sure you follow me on there to stay in the loop, or you can follow me on Letterbox where I post the first clip, or I post my first star rating of the film there. So yeah, it's at Derek P Reviews on Letterbox. If you want to follow me on one of those two to stay in the loop. I'll link my Instagram down below. Also, there's always a trailer link down below if this sounds interesting to you. You want to see what I'm talking about, it's there. Yeah, and make sure you subscribe so you can hear what I think of the rest of the vacation films. And if you have any films that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. So yeah, hopefully if you go on a trip to Europe, it's not as dysfunctional as this, but hopefully it's about as entertaining. So yeah, till the next review, I guess I'll see you all later, and yeah, so cheers.